All I remember were the cattle, because that's all I have to look after. I have to look after the cattle for my father. And what we do every year, we go into swampy area because we were nomads. So we move from different season to different season. And in rainy season, we move back to the villages because the villages are wet at that time. So that's what we used to do every year. And one time before we leave, we go back to the swampy area. My father told me that, and my mother told me, you have to leave with the other boys. And I asked them, why are we leaving? They said, you're going to school. And all the children are going to school. On the way, we met other boys coming from different villages too. So we start asking ourselves, where are you going and what happened? Some boys said our villages were bombed. Some people came to our homes and bombed our villages. So we had to run away. And some people have the same story like me, that I was sent away, that I'm going to school. We left Sudan in 1987 to Ethiopia, and we stayed in Ethiopia until 1991. The refugee camps are not that good because they are like, prison. When we left Sudan, we were told that you're going to school. And although it was not the case, but that's how we was told. And after we came to refugee camp, we had no other thing else. We have no parents, we have no relatives or anything. We're just of the same age guys. So what we have to do is to focus on education once we get a chance. Sometimes we go and learn under the trees because we know we cannot wait for UN to provide us with that one. We cannot wait for them to provide the chalks for the teachers. So, and we have it theme songs at the time that education was my father and my mother, because we have no other alternatives when we're traveling. And we know once we get educated, we can go back and change the country, and we can go back and do something better, build the road and bring clean water. Well, I think that if I keep going to school, I will have to write my own ticket that that's where I know what I'm doing better. Because if I just stop right now, I might not be qualified enough to do anything I wanted to do.
I met Abraham when he was working at Costco, and my wife and I went there to go shopping and saw him in the parking lot, and we were both film students at the time. And I thought, well, this is an interesting fellow, And
so one time he walked to me and he said, man, you're such a good human being. And I'm taking a class in Pima. I'm doing a documentary for my class. Can I learn more about you or do a documentary on you? I'm like, yeah, sure. So that's how we got to know each other. We talking and everything. So since then, we never separated. We've been talking, emailing, and talking on the phone.
We'd go out to dinner. He'd come over for holidays and stuff like that. And when I would see him, I would tease him and I'd say, you got to write a book. You got to write a book about your story. And and if you ever go back to Sudan, I would love to go with you.
It was 2006 after I graduated from U of A here, and immediately I got my citizenships. So I told Donny I have to go and visit my family. I have to go and find them anyway, because I don't know where they were. I just heard some of them are alive and somewhere in southern Sudan.
So in May of 2007, we both traveled back to Sudan and traveled into Kakuma, Kenya, lived in a refugee camp for a week, and then jumped on the back of a truck and traveled into the Upper Nile River Valley of southern Sudan to a little town called Poktop. And from there, we really didn't know where his family was, and along the way, we met family members and friends who were kind of guiding us while we were heading into southern Sudan.
We asked where they were, so we were told that they are in a village somewhere down 3 hours away.
I was really impatient, and in Africa things kind of happen at the last minute. They happen in a quick hurry and without notice. And so, you know, here I am, just like, okay, we gotta find her, we gotta find your family, you know, where are they? We've been here for 6 days, you know, run out of time, run out of money. You know, we were both sick the entire time. And we decided to go for a walk around this village and take some photographs and talk to people and whatnot.
And she just walked up to me and somebody said, "That's your mother." And someone said, "Oh, that's your son." So we ran into each other. We did not know that we were gonna meet that night.
And it was just, you know, this moment that happened like that. And fortunately, I had my camera with me. You know, I captured his first embrace with his mother after 20 years, his first embrace with his sister after 20 years. Later on in the evening, when we were sitting around talking about the day and everything that we had gone through up to this point to get there, I think a little over 2.5 weeks maybe had passed, maybe 3 weeks to this point of traveling into southern Sudan. And Abraham asked me the question, well, what now? And I'm like, well, I don't know.
I visited the schools that were in the towns, and most of the schools were under the trees. Some were in the building that were destroyed by the war. So I thought that it would be nice if we could build school for them.
And, you know, Abraham turns to me, he's like, well, why don't we build a school? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, if we can do one, we can do 3. And maybe we can do 1 a year for the next 3 years. And so we both filed for articles of incorporation and created a nonprofit, the Deng Ater Foundation, Lost Boys Schools for Sudan. And you know, our mission is basically to provide the opportunity of an education to all children in southern Sudan. And we're traveling back to Sudan in December. Our goal is to register with the government of southern Sudan as an indigenous non-governmental organization, and to also register with the Southern Sudan Relief and Rehabilitation Commission to do our site surveys for the schools, to make sure those sites are free of landmines and suitable to build schools on, and also to get community feedback on what the communities are really looking for and needing with respect to a school and starting to build up infrastructure.
That's what I hope for, that if I build a school for those children, then they will go to school and they will teach their mothers or fathers about education. And, you know, we made a good investment for the future.